Calling all virtuous seed planters. This is The Flower of Freedom by Deborah J. Reeves. We're on chapter 171. We invite you to come on in as long as you brought your good heart and good intentions with you. Please take a seat in the chair that we've provided for your imagination, or find a comfortable spot wherever you are so that you can listen and share these 8 minutes or so of a story that I've written. All rights to both the story and the presentation are reserved, but we hope you take great joy in what we've written. This is chapter 171, The Old Cow Has Horns. Hans sneered at the old lady, but she was not afraid of him. Neither was she as strategic. Bertie could sense her determination to protect him, and he stirred, thinking that he had to protect her. She wanted Bertie to stay behind her, but Bertie could not let her fight his battles. She was filled with righteous indignation and a protective fury. Bertie had once seen something like it from a second-story window. When a stranger had tried to take one of Auntie Fan's children while they were walking down the sidewalk to visit Colette, Fan had turned into Wonder Woman. Before Bertie could make it down the stairs and out onto the street, Fan was standing on the man's back and she was hammering his head with the heel of her shoe. As Bertie ran out of the house, he bellowed for his mother to call the police because Auntie Fan and the kids were in trouble. And before the police arrived, Bertie had told Fan's 4 children to run into the house. They looked at the hulk that had once been their mother, that they recognized, and the eldest took the youngest by the hand and they ran toward Colette's and into the house. Bertie wasn't sure that Fan even noticed. She was trying to take off her other shoe because Bertie had wrenched the first from her hand. He had worries that the man's death certificate would say death by misapplied shoe, or words to that effect, and that Jean-Claude would have to bail out his wife from jail for murder. The cops knew Jean-Claude, and they knew this predator. They did not have too many questions about the man's bloody head once Bertie explained what he had seen. He only explained the part about the man's attempt to grab Antonia. He left out the part about Fan turning into an avenging Wonder Woman. The cops assumed that Bertie had subdued the suspect, and Bertie let them keep their misconception. As the cops hauled the man away, Auntie Fan had turned to Bertie, and she had quietly asked him to help her find her shoe. "Where did you throw it, Bertie? I can't see it," she said, as though they were looking for an ice cream scoop rather than a potential murder weapon. Bertie had never seen Auntie Fan as a dainty, weak person again. She was a force of nature. Bertie later realized that he had not fully assimilated that lesson. His heart rebelled at the notion of an elderly lady attempting to protect him. It was his job to protect her, his mind told him. The old granny lady kept demanding that he stay behind her. She said, "You do not understand the essence of the battle, Bertie. Stay back. You are too good-hearted to fight this monster. This is and always was my work, and this is my last chance to stand my ground and fight for what is right." He looked at the old lady, who looked like she should have been using a walker in an old folks' home, and he just could not allow her to attempt to fight someone she believed was a monster. Bertie looked over her gray head, and he registered the viciousness in Hans' eyes toward the old woman. Bertie knew that the guy was a monster, but he was certain that the old lady had overestimated her own abilities. He knew that there was something inhuman and inky in the heart of the man who would attack such an old woman, a woman who was his own mother. So Bertie moved to get around the home of the woman, determined to protect her. She ran to stand between Bertie and Hans. Bertie marveled that she was faster than she looked. Hans feinted one way, and she moved to intercept him, while Bertie stood amazed at her fearlessness. Bertie was distracted 1 second too long, and then Hans had him by the shoulders. He dragged Bertie off balance as the old lady screamed. Before he knew it, Bertie was in the black water, and he was sinking like a stone. He saw the old lady standing at the edge above, crying as he sunk deeper into the darkness. He could not breathe as he struggled to free himself from Hans' grasp. It was like iron shackles had been attached to him. Bertie could not shake him off. Just as Bertie felt that he would pass out, he felt Hans maneuver in the water until his feet were against Bertie's chest. With one mighty push, Hans pushed him so hard that Bertie thought his spine might break. The last thing he saw while he was underwater was a gleam in Hans' eyes as Hans sank further and further into the darkness. The next thing that Bertie knew was even more strange. He must have passed out, because suddenly he was in a bright place. There was machine noise all around him. From somewhere, he heard someone say, "He's coming to. Call the doctor." He heard his mother's voice say, "Bertie, Bertie, come back to us. We love you, Bertie. You're safe. Come back. Open your eyes. We love you, Bertie." Bertie heard his real father's voice saying, "Colette, give the boy a minute to get his bearings. He'll wake up when he's ready. He knows where he belongs." "I know where I belong," thought Bertie as he went back to sleep. That's the end of chapter 171. We're delighted that you were here to hear our story, The Flower of Freedom. And we hope that it inspires you to plant your seed in the virtuous cycle. We wish you heaven's highest blessings. And I remain your friend, Deborah. Bye-bye.